Good evening, everyone. This is System Chalk with, I believe we're already on the fourth episode of Harold Davidson, which is the priest playthrough for Cultist Simulator. Now, I am going to be recording some of these videos in a little scattered way, so I'm both a bit rushed, and the next couple of episodes are going to have some gaps in between them for me recording, so I am going to need a little bit of time to refamiliarize myself with the board. So we've got a few books which we've picked up from Orleans. Eventually the study verb's going to be used for those. I've got Exaltation now. I believe if I do the inner circle, that is going to generate another follower for me to work with. But one of the things that we've been running into right now is I don't have a clear idea about what I really want to be using followers for. We have added Pope Clifton into the into the cult, but adding people into the cult is a little difficult. Simply because, or the Church of the Bright Edge specifically, an occult society dedicated to the hours of struggle and conquest. In order to do that, we do need some kind of lore which is associated with the cult. We inherited this from the previous playthrough. This is unique to the priest. I don't recall if there is a way to change it, but maybe I don't want to change it. We are continuing the story from our previous run, after all. There's a reason why we have Enid, and if you've not seen that, I highly recommend checking out that series. But one way or the other, because unlike other playthroughs where you will start with a certain type of lore, and that is a necessary condition for you forming the cult, it does mean that in the case of the priest, you can be in this rather unusual situation of not being able to recruit people, even though you've essentially inherited your congregation. So that's sort of the area where we are right now. Now, if I would like to get some more associates, I can talk about the various scraps. There's sort of two ways of thinking about the effects of this. Number one, it's just going to generate more mystique, which is going to occupy the weary detective, and that's not too much of a worry because we don't have any notoriety on the board. However, it is also possible that sort of with the fervor, the exaltation that I'm creating, sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. This can occasionally produce a notoriety, and I don't have any way of working around notoriety and evidence and so on. So by allowing this investigation to go on, and that's through the creation of mystique, I am potentially creating a situation in which I'll have evidence against me, and then at that point I just need another unlucky notoriety, and all of a sudden I'm either going to be imprisoned or one of my few followers are going to be. Now, as far as the recruitment is concerned, if I want to do that, essentially I should be willing to bring on a little bit more despair, because despair does have the edge influence, which means that I will be able to recruit people with that. But again, that has its own risks. So I think I've got a bit of an idea in terms of how I'm going to spend the next few turns. I think I am going to try and let the mystique sort of die out, and we will let the investigation finish, because again, I don't like being in a situation where I don't have a way of sort of controlling the problems I'm going to be running into. I do want to make some money, so I do need to kind of keep that in mind. There is going to be a challenge as far as the imagination is concerned, although I can keep using passion for that, I suppose. And the last things I want to do, Season of Vision, so we're already in that. We're improvising a sermon on a secret doctrine. This was Grail, so this would be appropriate for passion. I don't want to talk, as we said before, that will be generating mystique. And, oh yes, I think I was trying to increase my reason, so this is turning into a lesson learnt. But where am I getting my other lessons learnt? That is going to be something that I think about later. So I suppose the only other question would be, do I want to go to the woods now? That'll take passion. I am a little tempted to do it, but I think I'm going to do an all-passion painting first. Alright, Morelands has on What is Contained by Silver, which is a bestiary by Pomander in Greek. Now that's going to require Kerner and Goods. Now, in this case, we're not really using the study verb that much, except for studying text, so I'm not going to do that right away. I think I want to handle my sort of the acquisition of additional sort of traits, skills. But I don't think I'm opposed to buying another book from Orleans. So yeah, for now I think I'm going... Oh, Season of Ambitions. So that will potentially... that'll give me a restlessness to work with. That might... Oh, okay, this is the thing I was worried about. So now, I actually want to go the other direction. So now that we know we have notoriety, we want to create as much mystique as possible so that the probability of the card being picked up is as small as possible. So talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Our devotion has drawn comment. Alright, this is quite dangerous for me. But this too shall pass. My mind the library. I've gained reason, but it will be more difficult to gain reason next time. Okay, so I already had the lessons learned. This is good. I was looking to try and get a little bit more reason, particularly for the sermons. So let's think a little bit about how I'm going to deal with my my present dilemmas. If I would like, I can start reading some of these books and gain the lore. I do want to do that all passion painting to get rid of the staleness. It also lets me tuck away the notoriety and build my reputation. Oh right, if I'm going to do it all... Sorry, notoriety and 2... Well, actually, if it's only 2 passion, then... yes, we can afford... What am I doing? We can afford to go through the wood after all. Although, that may get picked up on a... That may get picked up if we find a potential follower. In the meantime, let's start reading some of these books. I don't see any advantage to keeping this study verb idle. So we'll start by reading Traveling at Night, Volume 1. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Elopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist, literate, entertaining, bewildering. The wood lies outside the walls of the Mansis. As any student of the histories knows, the Mansis has no walls. Opening lines of the game, incidentally. OBS does not pick up the opening titles, so I haven't really been able to show that off. But okay, it's a little disappointing to get the collection of essays at this point. Really, we are looking for lore, particularly edgelore, but I'll take my lumps. The question is, do I want to spend more money? I don't think I do right now, so let's get... Actually, what I am going to do, let's get Clifton to go take a trip through the streets. Let's see if we can find someone to do deeds. Tonight they listen, but they do not hear. If you use reason with more reasoned doctrines, or passion with more passionate lore, you are more likely to create fervor. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So furtive truth is the highest level lore that we have right now, but at the moment here, it's actually not the worst thing in the world for me to not to have more exaltation. I'm a little tempted to... Well, we'll wait the 8 seconds. I'm a little tempted to let the trip to the woods sort of expire. Okay. I definitely want to lock away the notoriety, so we'll grab as much passion as I can. So the main aim on this one is to get rid of the staleness, but this does also have the nice side effect of squirreling away my notoriety, hopefully, while I build up some additional traits. Now, there is a drawback that I don't have a lot of things to paint. So I could paint Enid. I could also do a painting on... We do have the potential danger of a fascination, so let's do a mood piece on our fleeting reminiscence. There is the worry. I would prefer to do it on the restlessness, but that's not going to come up in time. So I'll just sort of accept. I'll accept the lesser painting. I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. It's tempting. So I'm just going to take a quick second here. What hungers drive us? Right, so there's quite a bit more here than I recall, but... Okay, so that's going to want a passion. Yeah, we will definitely not find our way to the wood this time. But we may wind up with a dread. think I'll skip the paints this time around. Elopoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream wood via what he calls silver dreams. Trying to think your way to the wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love, but I did find a secret that helped. And, of course, we failed to make it to the wood, rather appropriate. The waters of the wood run cold and deep, but never clear. Rote memory alone will not take me there. I must engage my passion. Now I drift into other dreams. So this is, incidentally, you've probably already traveled to the wood by the time you find this, but this does actually have sort of your first clue in terms of how you can access the world of dream. Okay, so you do sometimes get erudition from additional works. Actually, it occurred to me that if I ask for commissions from Madame Bichet, that also gives me something I can do with my work slot. So I'm tempted to try the Viennese Conundra, or actually the Locksmith's Dream will probably give me erudition. I'm tempted to try it just so that I can get another lesson learned. Let's start with the Locksmith's Dream. It does give us Lantern, which is, I'm sure you all know, my favorite aspect. The parallels in mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Sometimes mordant, sometimes funny. No one has ever explained why Gallmer devoted herself to the chaotic exploration of artisans' dreams. Did I read the title? A Light Through the Keyhole is the first chapter here. Okay, what do I want to do with exploration? Streets strange by moonlight do carry the risk that a fascination will generate, but we don't have a season of visions coming up, and we do have a... we're going to have a potential dread generate here, and then a fleeting reminiscence. As yet, I have only the needs and desires of any other mortal, but what stirs in me? Okay, so we did get the acquaintance. The recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So there's our fleeting reminiscence. We did get a bit of mystique. So there's our notoriety back. Now we are exhausted on passion. This does have some difficulties, so we didn't cure our staleness. I do think I'm actually going to try... I want to try both neutralizing the restlessness as well as the notoriety, so I'm going to give this a little bit of time again. Clearly we don't have the passion for what we want to do, but... at this point I'm just trying to stay one step ahead of the law. I dreamt of the rain whispering in the eaves, tapping on windows like an old friend, hissing prankishly in the chimney. It is difficult to be unhappy in the right kind of rain. That's actually one of my... I definitely like the description. Obviously getting contentment is nice, but as far as just reading, it's pleasant to read, it's pleasant to think about. It's definitely one of the ones I like. If I want to try and generate dread, I'm not quite sure where I had gotten the impression of this, so if we bring in... Wandering Mind. There was once a man who said that the sleep of reason produced monsters. Often it is healthy to let the mind wander in sleep, but if I keep dreaming, sooner or later some sort of monster will rise from my own fears. So this would be if I wanted to try and bring someone into the cult, we would potentially generate dread. We can also sometimes generate fascination this way, and I haven't really tested it, but I'm not entirely sure that this... I don't know if the probabilities are weighted so that you get the negative outcomes, like those are more likely as a result of... I don't know if those are any more likely as a result of your... actually, I should probably be trying to find someone to hire. I don't know if they're any more likely going through... the reason rather than passion. I've actually tried to generate negative things with reason, and it hasn't really produced a lot for me. We still won't spend on the paints. We've got another restlessness coming up, so I may want to paint again, although this time we'll have the passion. And we've got yet another hanger on. All right. So we've got Passion that we can deploy if we need to. We've got another Mystique. We are running out, so the Explore verb I'm going to be using Pope Clifton to try and find either a... well, I guess it'd probably be a High Moth... hireling. Now let's talk with Madame Bichet about a commission. This isn't necessarily going to help me directly, but it at least gives me the option for future Mystique. Time and again we hear of the wood which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Is there a difference between light and light? I think the key to dreams of the wood might be one of these, the one that isn't exactly real. And we have the Watchman's Secret. Actually, it occurred to me I didn't read either of these lore fragments, so I'll do that now. This, of course, is the other way to the wood. The power of the wood enjoys the separation of the lock from the scalp. For attention, burn it. For opportunity, bury it. And the Watchman's Secret. It has been expressed like this. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. Incidentally, I've always wondered when it says, for attention, burn it. For opportunity, bury it. I've always wondered if there is a hint in terms of generating things like influence as opposed to sort of other side effects inside of that. I personally haven't decoded that, but that doesn't mean that that's not there. So again, we're going to send Clifton out to try and get us someone to deal with the evidence. We've got 2 erudition, so there is the temptation. How much time do we have on this? 178, 115. So we wouldn't have enough time to combine both. Well... I think I'm going to read whatever's to hand. I think we can still get the 2 lessons learned out of this. So, the world is awash with printed words. Even the newspapers contain knowledge sometimes. Here's what she needs. So this is a very substantial Grail commission. We are definitely not going to be able to do that anytime soon. So, my second best will be to continue to talk about lore fragments and try and generate mystique that way, along with my reputation. Worthless. I've produced nothing of any use or any significance at all. I should be ashamed of myself. Still, if I have a reputation, it might sell. My recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone, somewhere, will buy something. And maybe we'll read the commission the first time. Madame Olympie Bichet is seeking suitable articles for the Carisham Review. She wants something very substantial and unflinching on the Red Grail. Okay, so a lot of expiring mystique. This is going to create problems for my notoriety soon. We now have 3 staleness, and that is a side effect of what we were trying to do there. But we do have funds, so I can't complain too loudly about that. Okay, I may actually need to run away from the keyboard, and so it does raise a question to me as to whether or not I should just make this a shorter episode. There's something that I was going to do, and they're actually early. But I'm going to try and run this as long as we can. Let's see if we can at least get the passion back so we can squirrel away the notoriety. Oh. Okay. All right. Actually, it looks like somebody is expecting me, so I apologize for the early end, but we're going to leave it here. So right now we are trying to hold off the investigator. We're painting our way out of the... Sorry, they're getting very insistent. We're painting our way out of our troubles, and we're on our way to gaining our reason. So I do apologize for the only minor progress on this one, but I'm going to try and make sure that we do the full half hour for the next couple of episodes. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate the comments. I'm glad so many of you are excited to be seeing the priest, but I will be back. I am going to try and do one of these for each weekday, so I'll try and be back tomorrow with a new episode. And as always, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications if you'd like to know when these things go live, or otherwise do the interactions, the likes, or the dislikes with YouTube. It definitely helps me get the word out. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.